Alright. So this is the opponent again in my final game for the Coin-Op Classic. Dragon Gun by Data East, released 1992. Now, this is another game where we're using a mounted gun rather than a proper light gun. But unlike the other games I played, this is true unlimited ammo. This is the Japan version. I was thinking of actually running the USA version, but I should probably explain first that USA version on its default settings is equivalent to hard mode in the Japanese version, but if you set the USA version to easy, it becomes equivalent to Japan default difficulty. Which sounds good, except you actually get more health and bombs in the end of stages and from items, so it actually turns into a kind of an arranged mode where you can set the difficulty for the enemies to normal, which is harder, so there's a lot of them, but you get more health and bombs to balance it out. But I figured that since this is an arcade marathon, I should run the proper arcade default difficulty for that. So I'm going to actually get 1C. I'm going to attempt 1cc for this, even though my best run in practice was a technical 2cc. Double KO on the final boss turned into a 3cc. But you saw there that screen with DVI multimedia technology from Intel. That's because there's some CG backgrounds that are just plain not emulated here, and we're really missing out. So, there are two playable characters. They are absolutely identical. But the Japan version doesn't actually have the character profiles for them, but the USA version does. We'll play Lady. The characters in the USA version are named Anthony and Samantha. And according to their backgrounds, Anthony is of unknown background, except that he's an expert marksman who's been known to serve as a bodyguard for presidents and kings. Samantha has a similar backstory, except she's from Canada, and I think that's pretty funny. Earning the Canadian expert marksman, both of whom have been ice kais from Earth to repel evil dragons from a fantasy world called Pretoria. Throughout 6 stages, they will use the infinite power of the dragon gun to do exactly that. But of the cabinet, the guns had speakers built into them that would give you instructions on weak points and what to watch out for. The Japan version is like some movie Japanese kid voice, but the USA version is an English voice, and I think we should hear that instead, but I would like to actually play this game on its default settings. But if you've ever played Space Gun, also a title game, or perhaps Alien 3, the main thing you need to be doing most of the thing is shooting away enemy projectiles before they touch you. Also, these things will crash into you. A lot of stuff happening in the first screen of the game. You actually probably don't want to be firing all the time though, because the scope can charge up to a single powerful shot. It takes a couple seconds to do that though. But also, when you're not firing, it actually tells you the names of the enemies, which is a neat detail. But this is 1992. Data East is at the peak of their powers in terms of artwork and presentation, also the music. Just look at this pixel art, look how big everything is. Kind of the exact opposite of everything I've been running beforehand, which is mid to late 90s 3D graphics and FMV, digitized graphics. There were several of these games that had a horror sci-fi theme, and this one is pure fantasy. I'm taking a little bit of damage, and that's actually fine because of the health item coming up. Not far from here. USA version, I think, has more sensible item placements. I'll get to those as soon as they come up. It's also important that you fire enemies in the background because their projectiles travel far, and they'll hit you before you can see it coming. With these lizard men here, there's a small chance that when you shoot them down, they fire a parting shot. And if they're right in front of you, if you don't have your trigger on them, then they'll take damage from you in revenge. So you get like 3 of the power-up items. Once you get the 4th, it turns into the Dragon Sight, which is maximum strength for about 15 seconds or so. There's 4, so we get it here on this hallway. Came a little bit later than expected though. Yeah, why are the items timed strangely actually? They're supposed to get it earlier than that. Anyway, here's an enormous pixel skeleton. Actually better I get it here so I can do more damage on it. shoot off the head. That doesn't kill it, but it does prevent it from doing one of its attacks. Also, if you remember Steel Gunner from yesterday, same rule applies where anything that hits the other player's side does not count. Except the active area that can damage you is wider than you might expect. And some projectiles will just hit you regardless of where it lands. At the end of each stage in the Japan version, you get 4 health back. So if you take 4 hits or less, you'll restart the next stage with full health. I'm probably going to take one more hit on the way in, though. There's supposed to be a life item. Did I miss it? Because, for some reason, you get the health restore really early in this stage, and I'm not entirely sure why. USA version you get it a little bit later, which makes more sense. The bomb. I won't be using bombs just yet. The screen clearing bombs, it also prevent you from taking damage for a few frames. And that's going to be really important because your ability to once you see this at all will depend entirely on how many bombs you can carry to the final boss. So I don't want to be greedy, but at the same time, I have to use them to protect myself. Quattro has this in our grasp. If this was emulated properly, you see when the sky here turns red, what's actually happening is that we're being spun around in all directions, which is a cool effect, and that's the kind of rotation that this hardware couldn't do at the time, I guess, but it might cause motion sickness if you look at it for too long. Anyway, this boss is really straightforward. Just shoot away the fire, and fire until you win. I don't know how the active frames work on this boss, or all the bosses. They just take damage at arbitrary moments. Sometimes they lose a lot of health, sometimes they take no health, even if you hit them straight in their weak point. I don't know why. But he keeps us at arm's length at all times, even though he could just swallow us whole. So I took 5 damage, so I'll have 31 health on the next stage. Yeah, that's true. I think the name Dragon Gun isn't all that memorable to me. For some reason, the characters I think is named Jay Long. I don't know why. I don't remember what player 1 character's name. And here she's telling us we're gonna take to the skies. The script in the USA version is also more fleshed out. There's actually stage titles. Nothing like that here. I don't actually remember what the stage names are offhand. Also mentioned earlier that you actually see the profiles for the characters. Nothing like that in the Japan version. Not even in Japanese. So the USA version actually feels like a more complete game. Shame about its balance though. We'll see about running it in Retrothon. Because I think USA easy difficulty is a more balanced game. Although some of the bosses were made more difficult to compensate. Where they actually make you use all those bombs, probably unintentionally. That starts becoming an issue on stage 4. These crystals, all of them will damage you no matter where they land, but they're pretty easy to shoot down. I like the name Humsec for these enemies. I don't know why, it's just fun to say. I took a hit somewhere. The more of these you can shoot down in advance, the easier it is. But most of the time they're manageable. Especially when they're not being covered by anything. Steadily take these things down as they approach. You only have to worry about your side. Also, if they hit the extreme edge, it doesn't hit anybody. but it's not entirely clear at first where that is. You shoot them down, they come back as skeletons. But no more dangerous than they were the first time. Also, in the USA version, the gun speaks more often, which I actually like. Get the most out of those speakers built inside the guns on the cabinet. A bomb. Still shouldn't need a bomb at this point yet. We also might have seen that they cap at level 5. Once you go below 5, they get weaker. Although in practice that's not really much of an issue. It just means the iframes last less. There is health at the start of stage 3, so you get 8 health from items in this version, so I have 12 health to look forward to at the end of this boss fight. We're really missing out on the effect here, by the way. The background here is supposed to be the planet spinning around. And it looks really neat. There is actually a YouTube video, exactly one YouTube video of this game running on real hardware. I have to remember to link it at the end of this run, so you can see what's not being emulated. I'm supposed to take damage on these. You'll be spinning around the planet. It's a really neat effect. If only we could see it. This is supposed to be the easiest boss in the game, and I took any damage at all on this. Because I'll let those things stick on the screen. Any small things that stick on the screen like that are the most dangerous, because they do damage as long as they're on there. So there are situations, especially starting stage 3, where you'll take a ton of damage and not know why. Overall, though, the game has been pretty reasonable once you learn the patterns. I think once you practice it, you can get through at least stage 3, at least the stage 3 boss, on 1 credit. Cozy? I don't know about that. I think this is the most difficult game for me because I'm actually attempting to 1cc it. Skies have been cleared. We're going back down to Earth. Something's poisoned the water hole. I had to do a lot of practice on this stage because I wanted to avoid using bombs here. I'm gonna need one for the boss, but it'd be swell if I could avoid using those because again, I want to stockpile as many as I can. In the USA version, you don't get the health, you only get it on the next stage. Also, this thing's called Puffy. I don't get full health because I took 3 hits when I wasn't supposed to. Very important I carry as much health as I can to the end because the final boss will start doing unblockable attacks. And that's what the bombs are for. So I've actually been practicing at the very last minute. Stuff to, strategies to avoid using bombs in cases where the only 1cc I could find did use bombs. Although for marathon safety I'll end up using more bombs than I want to anyway. Stuff comes from the left here. I gotta take care of the enemies in the back there, or I won't be able to shoot down their shots because stuff will cover it up and I can't take it out because I can't see it. I'm taking hits anyway. Focusing too much on the back, missing stuff in the front. This isn't good. If I knew what I was doing, I would not have taken any damage there. You don't need to shoot down these, you can't anyway. Just want me to take down that lizard guy so his fire doesn't penetrate the wall and hit me before I can react to it. Huge problem with this game is that enemy shots can go through walls, but yours can't. I've had 1 credit end because I was being shot at through a door that I couldn't do anything about. Oh, this is hideous. My 1cc is already in jeopardy here. I'll probably have to settle for 3. These guys all approach the left. We're gonna take care of the big dude. Once you get rid of these guys, people by cover fire. Go right in front of you. You shoot that red gem on his chest to push him back. Or you take a ton of damage if it's attack next. If he steps back, shoot at his heel. He can't guard it. Okay. This screen's really precarious. Normally you'd use a bomb here, but I've worked out a way to hopefully avoid having to use a bomb here. Take one shot here, and then wait for this thing to form, and then... I got it. The spiders in the back will attach to the screen and do a ton of damage, and you won't know why. But I've been practicing that screen, and I'm glad I got that the way I wanted to. The usual way is to just use a bomb, because it's hard to see anything that's happening. Oh, there's a spider back there. Gotta be careful not to let it live. And these leashes, they'll stick on you through the door and drain your health. There's nothing you can do about it. Let those two guys pass. So got these leeches. These. And there's... what do they do? Mop up the leashes before engaging the big dude. Keep your calm. And you have nothing to fear. Also, don't miss the gem. I am gonna have to use a bomb here because I don't want to deal with the giant skeleton while you're here. But I have to do some damage to it first. Especially because these columns, they get in the way. It's gonna spit stuff from here, and I have to shoot at the column and hope I get them. I've already taken more damage than I wanted to on this screen. Let's destroy that. That's the first bomb usage. If I was better, I wouldn't have had to do that. But these foreground obstructions are real okay. Also destroyed the big shells because they're closer than they appear. They do the damage before it looks like they should. Also, remember, you gotta keep your trigger on the lizards after they die, just in case they fire a party shot on death. It's random, and I don't think there's a way to determine what they're gonna do when they die. Sometimes they leave a little gift that you can continue shooting for more points. Like that. Big emulation error here, I'm not sure why. There's nothing important on that square. Okay. Key here is to fire just above his head as he spits stuff at you, and you want to destroy as many of it as possible before it reaches you. Especially this. Any of those bullets touch you, 2 damage each, and there's a lot of them. Well, look at the rate at which he loses life. I don't understand it. For some reason, on this boss only, when you're about to win, it changes over to your theme, like you're about to win a boss fight in Captain America and the Avengers. Okay. I used the bomb there because it's firing left and right. And I don't think you can do that as one player. Shoot all of them down, so I just use the bomb there. So far, pretty reasonable, if you know where to bomb. And that's the end of that. If I'm gonna lose this credit, it'll be here or next stage. So let's see, it's 17 health, so 21 health for this stage. There is a life item at the very end of this stage, though. It's another aerial stage. We're in a tornado now. So haven't I mentioned just how powerful the presentation in this game is? I'm pretty sure, because I should mention now, this game has no end credits. After you get the ending, it just says thank you for playing. But the USA version does have credits, and it mentions a Project Ragtime 2. So it's probably the same people who worked on the Great Ragtime show, which you need to look into if you're not familiar with it, especially the fine detail in the pixel art in that game, and the pretty messed up story of its release. I don't really need to deal with this call with these heads. More present dangers right in front of me. Also like to avoid using bombs here too, so I'm going to need it for the end. Actually, if I'm clever enough, I might not need a bomb at all in the end. I need 7 bombs for stage 5. I'm going to use at least 2 there, and then 6 for the final stage, which is probably too many. Starting on the boss fight, I'm gonna have another health item. I'll be careful. Should have taken that hit. Also appreciate how those wind zards have crossbows. And it still fires guts at you. I didn't see what hit me there. Clouds are covering up some of their fire. Come out, whatever order makes sense. But be prepared to change targets. I'm already taking more damage than I'd like. I should start bombing. I just have to remember where. Is the boss coming up? I didn't need to do that. We're being taunted by the boss, but this doesn't do any damage yet. Wasn't it what movie had this giant segmented worm that just goes on for miles? Anyway, what it does is that those turrets in the upper half, they fire every kind of bullet, even though they're all exactly the same. But they regenerate, so I'm gonna shoot these things here that instead fire the facehugger deals. Those are more dangerous. Keeping in mind the rule that only things on your half of the screen count. When it's up close like this, they don't attack. We just gotta keep this up until this section ends. Sometimes those blue vehicles release the spider, sometimes they don't. I'm not sure if it's random or not. I took a hit. I took a hit because the enemy provided cover fire. Should we get into this segment? Okay. I missed an item somewhere. I'm supposed to have Dragon's Head at this point and I don't. So I just fired a bomb that for safety. I don't know where I missed items. I probably missed it at stage 3, so this part's gonna suck for a while. I think since it's already over. I've never missed an item there before. way I'm gonna finish this now. Even with the health I get later, it's not gonna be enough. I fired a bunch of bombs to hopefully keep myself alive. So you can't do this in the USA version. Shoot out these bullets before they appear. They buffed this boss specifically for USA. And I see why they did it too. You know the trick is a little bit too easy. So instead they just force you to use bombs. We're supposed to be through the clouds here. Let's get this until it moves, and then it starts moving in this messed up pattern. USA version, you would definitely need to use bombs because you can't shoot down these bullets fast enough. They go a little bit too fast for you to shoot them down. But not so here. You can do this without bombs. I'm gonna get Dragon's Head at a different point. I'm just not sure where. This will be a 3cc at best. Now the demons reveal themselves. They are underground. It is now Alien Guts World. Or Doom, whichever. I'm gonna use a bomb. We're gonna use a bomb once the Lake of Fire gets too crowded. Right about here. Okay. I don't think it's possible to do that with one player without using a bomb. Almost got me there. We're absolutely going to use a bomb or two on the boss in this stage. Let the Caesar they go back. Screen because another one of these dudes appeared with no backup, but they give you invincibility for this. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten that. And I got the Dragon's Head at a bad time. I should not have collected this. So the shield gives you invincibility, and it lasts longer than this fight will. You have nothing to fear here at all. I don't know why they put that there. The easiest gold bowl fight. Because you also get it there in the USA version. And then he fights beams from the sword, and I can never remember exactly where I'm supposed to aim to block those. Here. I took some hits. It sucks. Okay. Here's the boss. The most alien scene yet. Vishnu. This looks like something out of... This is a boss like out of Space Harrier. They tell you to aim for the orbiting object in the USA version, but what you really want to do is just aim for the core. The guy who owns these things. The bullets come from them. Shoot him enough and they all fall, so... just shoot the guy in the center long enough. Shoot them the bullets as they approach, until phase 2 starts. If you're fast enough, you should not need to use any bombs here. You can see where they came from. Phase 2. So, this phase is pretty much a big issue. You have to shoot at these clones before they touch you, and it's not clear when. But 2 and 4 is not so bad. Once it starts doing 6 though, take damage here. 6 is only barely manageable if you manage to get it, manage to start attacking them at the right moment. But if you let it go long enough, it starts doing 8. Here's the bomb. Just use the bomb there, regardless of how much you have left. Alright, final stage. Look at Anthony with the dragon gun on his shoulder. There's no way that is not the final stage. So, in spite of some mistakes I made here, I got to the final stage at 1 credit. That's something. 0 chance I'll survive, but we'll see. See if I can at least get to the boss before I expire. This is also the shortest stage, but my favorite song in the game. Very anime, late 80s fantasy anime theme here. Health. 7 health is not going to be enough to survive the first phase, but we'll see. I do it for 4 bombs or 3. All because I missed stuff early on. Also, those things are not throwing stuff at me. They never did at any point before. I'll say that this credit is over because of unavoidable damage at the beginning of the fight. I tried. So I think there's supposed to be a background here, but I don't remember what it is. Just, we meet again. I have not seen this guy yet. Okay. Throw bombs immediately. You spam bombs until this phase ends. Okay. Somehow I took no damage on that. That's why it's important you carry as many bombs as you can to that. Because those attacks he sends, they go way too fast to shoot them away. So these may as well be unblockable. If you have 2 guns, maybe you can prevent his attacks from reaching you. I don't know. And then here is pretty straightforward. You can probably tell there's supposed to be something in the background. in the USA version, in the next phase you get health. Not here. Maybe this would be 1cc if I was running it, but I'm not. So when you're down to 1 bomb, you get the Salamander. A really weak bomb, but it does recharge after 5 seconds. And then it takes your form. So you cannot do anything at all to block that attack. That's why I wanted to carry boss for this. I tried though, I got to the last phase on 1 credit. That's something. So when he approaches your side, throw a bomb and hope the iframe's covering. But that's a 2cc. That's an honest 2cc. If I was more diligent, yeah, I'll survive. If I was more diligent, this would have been a real 1cc. All you can do is just carry as much health as you can to the end, and then survive this part. So that's really it. Your ability to 1cc is just how much health and bombs you have at the very end of the game. Surely there had to be a more fair way to determine whether or not you win. There's supposed to be another background here. You're supposed to see the shadow die out, but it's against black, so it just looks weird. That's Dragon Gun. I got the good ending here, and I think yeah, look at the dudes in the back in the slings. They helped. Anyway, if you defeat the final boss fast enough, Anthony and Samantha return to Earth. Samantha is from Canada, so she gets dumped straight into the middle of the freezing Canada mountain lake. And they don't get their original clothes back that you saw on the start screen. Anthony's ending is he's dumped into the middle of Manhattan traffic, so I guess his nationality is not all that unknown. They will never forget the bravery that these heroes from Earth have shown the people of Pretoria. And then, thank you for playing. USA version will have credits here. And a bunch of chibi drawings too that the Japan version just doesn't have. So it's like this game was 99% done. The USA version is 100% done, but also the difficulty is way overtuned. For some reason, Player 1 is also allowed to enter their name even though they did nothing. So how'd I do? That's my best run on the Japan version. That's the end of my runs for the Coin-Op Classic. And also, Data East likes to count credits separately. So 1cc's are recognized, even if it's not obvious at the time you do it. And that's my runs for the Coin-Op Classic this year. Thank you for watching. I'm going to do more light gun stuff in the future, because I really need to show off my open fire build more. This has been The Opponent, and you are watching the Coin-Op Classic on RetroGamingLiveTV. Stay tuned.